Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast brought by Closures.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Leonard Kim, the founder of Influence Tree, a top-tier consultant specializing in SEO, growth marketing, ads, and more to propel founders and companies to industry leaders. He scaled organic search from a couple dozen clicks to over 1 million in just 15 months, and also drove massive traffic and revenue surges through battle-tested digital strategies. Named the top 50 online marketer by Forbes and others, Leonard now shares his proven consulting playbook for explosive business growth with many businesses significantly impacting his industry. With that being said, Leonard, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having me, Milan. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you on the podcast. I was looking forward to the conversation, so we're going to jump right into it. But first, what I love to do with every single one of my guests is a bit of traveling back in time. So before you even had this company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
Okay, so sure. So back in the day, I was in a place where I was like sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was taking the bus to and from work for about 2.5 hours. I was getting paid $16.24 an hour. When it came to buying groceries, I had to like carry them onto the bus and drag them home. Like sometimes the bag would break. Things were really tough, and I was like, how long do I want to keep living like this? Like I didn't really have much opportunity to go out there and do anything. Around that time, what happened is Obamacare came out, and the taxes on my paycheck came out maybe $100 more. So I was losing like 200 bucks a month, and that was like my grocery money. And I was like, okay, if I keep doing this, I'm just gonna get further and further behind, and I'm gonna end up with nothing. I gotta do something to go out there and change that. So I took some time and reflected, and I was like, well, I took all this time studying marketing. I read from the greats. I went to high school with Neil Patel, who's also another great digital marketer. Maybe this is something I could end up doing. Maybe I should try marketing myself and see where that takes me. Within 6 months of writing, that turned into about 2 million reads on my content. In a year and a half, that turned about into 10 million reads. I was like, okay, maybe I should go out there and do something to better and improve my life. So that's how I started.
Man, not anybody can say, yeah, I was a student with Neil Patel, is a friend. That's a big name. So I'm glad that this is a part of your story. But also, I gotta say, hats off to you for recognizing that there is more potential and there's more for you to do in this world. I feel like a lot of people are getting stuck in that feeling of like, man, this just sucks, and they never find enough of a bravery to actually take a step into something unknown. So I always love a story like that. Leonard, let's talk about where this journey overall got you and what the business really looks like today. In this part of the podcast, what I'd love to do is get the listeners close to understand, first of all, who it is exactly that you're trying to help right now, but also what are the core offerings that you have in place for your clients.
Sure. So at this time, what I do is I do AI search, I do SEO, I do ads, I do landing pages, and most importantly, conversion rate optimization. Like when you kind of typically look at a firm, they might focus on just ads or just SEO or just one component of the equation. However, essentially everything kind of works together. And what you really have to look for is someone who knows how to do conversion rate optimization because those are the ones who will get you to win. And when you're kind of looking at a lot of agencies and things like that, it's kind of hard to find places that have that kind of experience because they haven't had the time where they just put into so much effort into just one or two different projects to really see what propels and what makes the brand move and what how each of these components work together. They usually specialize in just one thing, like ads. Like if I'm doing ads, I'm just looking at what the cost per click is and the cost per add to cart and then the cost per purchase. That's one finite solution to kind of look at. But then now you have to see how SEO, ads, AI search, how everything kind of combines together and how to get conversions to rank two. The other thing is, like, let's say I'm working with someone who's strictly focusing on conversions, right? And they have no SEO experience. They'll build out a landing page, they'll use something like Go High Level or something like that. That site, that page will get zero ranking traffic. You're getting zero organic traffic to that page. It's all strictly based off how many people are clicking and how many people are filling out that form. Now, on the other side, if you have SEO experience, most of those people just talk about how to get the most amount of people to go and view that page. But if you really want to succeed, you have to take both these elements and combine it together. People need to be able to find your page on search, but also at the same time have it convert too. So you don't see that very commonly in the world of the marketing landscape. Most people are either on this side or that side. You don't really see many who are in between. And with the huge bump of AI right now, a lot of people are using that for reputation as well. When I was working with Stephen Dux, who's a day trader, we worked on building out his personal brand so far to the point when ChatGPT first came out, you could type in who's the top day traders, the best day traders out there. And then he was like number three. We didn't do any AI search prep for that. It was all built into all the marketing we already did before that. So when a lot of people
Hmm.
are like, oh, AI searches and SEO and all these things are kind of irrelevant to each other, if you do things the right way, those AI search results show up because we did things the right way. And then once AI came out, that was already positioned there.
I got you. I'm loving this because it seems like there's a lot of complexity in the various different services that you can provide, but everything that you do seems like you're looking at it through the lenses of performance. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what truly matters, right? So I love this. Now, when you really think about all of those services, I'm also pretty sure that it took you some time to really niche down in terms of who it is like the perfect avatar that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And every single business owner goes through this journey of really figuring out like what is going to be my decision process on like whether I'm going to end up working with you or not. So I would also like to take the opportunity and maybe let's get the listeners close to understand what is the process that you have in place and how you basically decide on whether somebody is a good fit for you or not.
So in the past, what I used to do is I used to focus primarily on personal branding. And one of the things I saw is because that's reputation based and it's not monetary based, you have a lot of attrition in that kind of business model because people are like, okay, cool, I'm popular now. I have enough popularity. I'm gonna leave. Or, oh, yeah, sure, I'm getting popular, but it's not translating to revenue. I'm gonna leave. And then as time progressed, I was realizing something. People don't really care about any of these ancillary things. Getting 5,000 views on social media, being in a magazine, like people don't really care to stick around with you that long if they're doing these things. If you switch your business model to being revenue driven, that's what any business owner truly cares about. So you have to focus on the revenue and growing the revenue. While you have some of the things that are vanity metrics, like I see social media as a waste of time. I don't offer social media at my company. I'll do social media ads, but I won't offer social media. Why? Because one, it's a time suck, it's a resource suck on my end. Two, if I go, hey, look, I got you X many views on social media to a client, they're going to be like, okay, how much money does that translate into? And it's one of the
Hmm.
least confident sources that you could attribute money to. What I really do is I look at that bottom line and I'm like, look, these are the tactics you need to do to go and increase this and buy this, buy this, buy this, and reach these specific milestones. And these all have measurable effects. And then you could go out there and build this out. And if you do it correctly, then you could fill in all the gaps. And also outside of that, not a lot of people who have experience doing the marketing funnels also have some experience doing the sales as well. You have to also understand how that sales process works and what metrics to track there, because otherwise, marketing could get blamed for sales inefficiencies. For example, let's say you call 100 people from the leads, 50 of them answer, and 50 of them say, I'll call you back. That's not a marketing issue. That's a sales issue. And it's up to the marketer to be able to go, hey, look, that's a sales issue because you could say these specific things to get those 50 people to stay on the line, and then everything else will fall in line as well.
Yeah, I'm smiling because this is a little bit funny to me. I just remembered several different conversations that I had about this, and I feel like in this world of high ticket and also revenue building, It's like the never-ending question between the marketing and sales teams. They
Yeah,
love to
who's
put the blame on each
yeah.
other always. So
It's like
yeah,
whose fault is it? Is it
yeah,
marketing or is it sales? It's like, well, if you have the structure set up and you have everything broken down into an organized structure where you're tracking each analytic properly, then you can see exactly whose problem it is, and it's not truly a blame game. It's a room for improvement. Because, like, let's say has back pain, and then you say, "I'll call you back," or they say, "I'll call you back," like, and you say, "Okay." Like, what are you doing? Like, you could say, but this is about solving your back pain for good. Wouldn't a few minutes of your time be worth it to talk about that? It's just going to take a few minutes. Then they say, yeah, then it trickles down the line and you get a sale. Like, that's not a marketing problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of iterations when it comes to this, but I completely agree with you. But it all goes into the ability to really work with the data and the metrics and the logic behind all those strategies that you have in place. So,
Yeah.
Leonard, one thing that I definitely want to get your perspective on, you're absolutely speaking my language. I'm coming from the world of marketing myself. That's what I've been doing for the past decade, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in people in your industry and what is the perspective on what is the best kind of structure to have in place for your offers? Because there is a lot of people in your industry who are basically doing just monthly retainers because that's like the most famous model for marketing agencies and
Mhm.
marketing people. But also, there is a little pivot happening, specifically in the past 12, 24 months, where you really see marketers going into the model of like, hey, you're going to be my client, but we're going to work together for at least 6 months. This is what we're going to go through, and this is the kind of transformation that we're looking for, right? Instead of the monthly kind of model. I just want to
Yeah.
get your perspective on how it really works for you and why did you choose that model?
So I have a variable model. Like if I'm working in healthcare, for example, there's Stark laws, so I'll just take a retainer, but then I probably want my retainer examined so often for performance to see if there could be an increase in regards to that. Because I'm driving revenue. For a typical client, what I typically do is I weigh it out. Sometimes I'll do a really high retainer. It really depends on like where the company's positioned. If you're making $12 million a year, you're probably getting a really high retainer. If you're a small business and you're struggling with 15, 20,000 a month, there's not really much you can afford, but I could still help you. So I could probably go lower on the retainer and make something a lot more affordable for someone to actually hop on and feel the growth cycle. But then I'm gonna want some type of reward for taking such a low retainer as well. Whether that could be a commission structure, equity, or something like that. Because I'm really open to who to go out there and work with. I mean, just because something works for a $10 million company doesn't mean it doesn't work for a $10,000 a month company. So, I mean, there's
True.
opportunity all the way across the board. And even if someone's like struggling and they're not doing anything, like I'll still consider it. So I'm pretty open with my revenue model, but I try to make it fair. Like, what could a $10 million a year company afford that's not going to break the budget, that's going to be reasonable? What could a $10,000 a month company afford? Will they get the same services? It's somewhere there. Will they get the same attention and focus? Yeah, they get that. But then it's always just an equation of what's going to be the growth factors for those. And I think from a lot of experience, what I've noticed is some channels work better for certain types of companies than others as well. For example, a Shopify store, that's a pretty complex project. There's so many elements that really have to be done in a Shopify store. Whereas an electrician, you can just put up a page that says, "Yeah, your emergency electrician now," and it's super easy. So there's a huge scale of how hard something is in this industry as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for providing that perspective. And also, like, if you think about people just starting in the industry and being new to the market and really finding their place, what would you say makes the most sense in terms of the business model for people just starting to set them up for success?
So one of the main things that you have to find is product market fit. If you're a landscaper, you could probably already have a product market fit because everyone in the world knows if you have a yard, you either need it to get mowed, you need a patio, you need something within it. So product market fit for an existing business is super easy to do. All you have to do is go out and communicate that extremely well. But now let's say you're a brand new startup and you're doing something brand new that no one has ever done before. Figuring out that product market fit is a little bit more difficult because you have to figure out what does that person actually care about and how are they going to move forward. And while you could go out there and ask friends for referrals to go and get into your system, I don't really think that's the best way to go about it. I think what the best way to go about it is to build out a landing page and then start to test different creatives to see what's actually getting people hooked and reading further and becoming a lead. Because even if you build your initial business off of something like referrals at first, there's going to come a time where you have to pivot and then go truly get product market fit. And if you can't hit that product market fit, then you have a stale business that no one wants. So you have to figure out what is actually something that people are looking for. So you have to start your marketing early to really get that messaging down.
Beautiful. I'm very glad that you started talking about this because one of the things that I wanted to discuss on this episode is basically the back end side of the business. And what is it that you do specifically on the front of marketing and lead generation to make all of this happen? Now, I know that you're one of those people who are very successful at building your following on social media. I think at this point it's over 600,000 people or something like that.
Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh
Probably.
yeah. It's a lot.
Oh.
You know, the fact that you don't know exactly, that's a good sign. But no, seriously, like when you look into the strategies that you've implemented, what is it that you currently do? What is the best strategy that you're still implementing and is performing well for you?
To build my own pipeline or to build my clients'
Yes. Yeah,
pipelines.
generating leads
For my
for yourself.
pipeline, the best thing I've ever done is just give people free money.
What do you mean by that?
I have a referral program where if someone refers me a client, I do the sales, they just make the introduction. If they sign on with me, I'll just give them 10% of my retainer for the life of the client,
Mm, that's
which is
attractive.
free money. I mean, it's literally free money. Like you don't like imagine you're getting like 300 bucks a month or 500 bucks a month or 200 bucks a month or 1,000 bucks a month for doing nothing. Like, what are you gonna do? Go tell someone else? Like, I know
Yep.
too much. But also at the same time, it's a lot of operating costs to go out there and do that. You have to. It could very easily fall into your margins if you don't do it right.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would recommend a lot of people do that, but that's what works best for me.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with this kind of model, you really have to be skilled in terms of how this should be working on the backside of everything.
Yeah.
But aside from those referrals and those strategic partnerships, as I like to call them, what is happening on the front of organic, but also have you dabbled into paid ads yourself just to create something really scalable and predictable at the same time?
Yeah, so for like organic, what I'll do is I'll post like maybe a case study here and there or show some results. And I'll get some people who message me, but then I don't really know if I want to do more work. So now I'm kind of iffy with my follow-up. Or they'll say something like, "Oh, my budget's like 500 bucks." I'm like, do I really want to do more work for 500
Mm.
bucks? I mean, if they follow up with me and they keep following up with me, then I'll work with them. But then, yeah, I get leads here and there, but it's not like I go and chase them down, because it's a lot of it's, is it worth my time? Like, I don't know if it's really worth
Yeah. I
my
mean,
time.
you are in a position where you can think this way. So, would you categorize the situation where you're basically just trying to be a little bit more picky in terms of who you end up working with, just to be able to protect your time right now? Is that the situation?
So I'd say I'm more right now with my company, more fulfilling the operational systems for the back end, the deliverables. Close to getting one workflow up and sticking everyone into it, but there's a lot more workflows I gotta do. So like once all that's done, it's super easy to go out there and scale because when you launch something new, it takes hours as opposed to days because you just click buttons and everything just gets sorted out. So I guess that's where I am right now.
I love it. Now Leonard, let's talk about the future. Obviously, you are in a good position right now, and there's a lot of plans for the company. So, specifically, if you think about the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months,
Yeah.
what would you say are those biggest goals, targets, revenue, milestones that you have set for yourself?
Well, I think if I do nothing, like sign on no new clients, don't talk to anyone else, next year I could probably make 400 to 500,000. That's just from doing nothing. I do miss having a job. It's nice to just do one thing and only one thing instead of dozens of different things. It's not that fun. But I could scale. I mean, once I have my processes in place, scaling to multiple seven figures isn't really that hard. But then also, I don't want to travel across the world. I don't want a Rolls Royce. I don't want a 10-bedroom house. So there's also, what do I don't know. I mean, I could do
Sure.
it, but how much do I really want? I don't really care. Like, wow, cool. You have little dots that people poked holes in on the roof. Wow, that's so cool. I got a car it drives. Why do I care? Like, there's also that
Yeah.
factor of like, okay, well, you could do it. Do you really want to do it? And then it's like, I think the big thing to kind of look at in this situation is I'm running my business again more out of a necessity than anything else. I tried for maybe a year to go and look for another director type role within the company because you gotta do one thing, you get a six-figure paycheck, you get benefits, you get to manage people and tell them what to do, but then you don't have to pay them out of your own pocket. You don't have to buy health insurance for yourself. You don't have to do taxes for yourself. So I'm coming from that mindset where I jumped into this because I have to do all this because I just wasn't. I was getting to a second or third interview. I just wasn't getting hired for anything. I'm just sitting here going, okay, well, I can make up the revenue. That's not a problem. But now I have to do finance, and I have to pay people, and now I have to do my own taxes. I have to do all this other stuff. I don't want to do all this stuff. So I don't know. We'll see where it
This is very interesting though,
goes.
because I can name you pretty much like 50 people who would kill to be in this position right now. But let me ask you one question. I had a similar conversation maybe a couple of weeks ago, and we basically talked about the fact that once you really get into a position where you are very well established, somebody as an authority within your field, within your industry, it sort of pivot from you running the business from like financial side of things and really hitting your own personal goals to basically doing really the service for people as clients, right? Like feeling that kind of obligation to really keep helping companies. What is your perspective on it? Do you feel any sort of pressure from the sense of really helping other companies perform better, scale better, grow, impact more lives? Or would you really feel like, maybe in the future I'm just going to go back to employment and just have my peace? What is the idea
Well,
there?
I mean, if you kind of think about it, let's say you go out there and let's say you have a job, right? Let's say you make $200,000 from your job, you get a paycheck from that, and everything just looks good. You just get paid all the time. Everything's super easy. If you kind of pull up a calculator for like California, like what you end up with is a pretty good amount of money, 200 grand a year after taxes, and you get 2,300 that you could put into your 401k, so then you have retirement money. You still get 9,200 to take home a month. Like that's a lot of money. Like most people's bills are like 3 to 5 grand a month. 4 grand a month, 6 grand a month left over from that. You could pretty much do whatever you want. Like that's a good amount of money. But now if you kind of flip it over to the job to the entrepreneur side, like you have to pay people out of that money. You have to you have to like
Yep,
do
you
all
do.
this other stuff. You have to do taxes. You have to figure all this other stuff out. You have to hire more people to structure all this and keep track of it all. You have to go and chase down all these different paychecks. So while some people might have a moral obligation where they feel like, oh, I got to go out there and do all these great things. I mean, also, I've written a book. I've gone out there and provided insights for people in the past. So maybe I'm past that moral obligation. I don't have to do that anymore because I already impacted all these lives. I don't have to do that. Now it's just about covering the
Yeah.
bills. So, I mean, when you kind of look at it from that perspective, like that impact's already been there. I've shared advice. It's gone into Forbes, Fortune, Fast Company, and all these different places. Other people have been able to take those benefits and go and instill them in those lives. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people have had improvements with whatever they learned from my book or anything I wrote online. I mean, like, I have to make my clients more money because that's what my agreements are, but is there a moral obligation? I don't know.
Yeah. Now, if you don't mind, I really have the urge to build on your transparency that you provided me with the entire conversation. So, like, really, when you think about the conversations that you had to yourself about all of this, what do you think really is going to be the next step for you? What are you planning? Is it going back to employment? Is it continuing with the business? What do you have in plans?
I mean, it doesn't really matter where anything takes me. It's not like any headhunters are going out there and reaching out to me for roles anymore like they used to be. Like I used to get like three recruiters, four recruiters messaging me every single month. And then I go through the interview process. Then at the very last step, they're like, "Oh, we just chose this person instead," or they just ghost me out of nowhere, or they'll call me back after a year and be like, "Hey, we're thinking about bringing you on now." Then they just disappear again. I'm like, what's the point of all this? Like, I just can't depend. I can't have my life depend on someone else's outcome. I'll just go out there and make money. I mean, right now, I don't really have to do much. I have everything kind of set down. I think what it really is I don't think any of my clients are going to leave me either. So I have a steady revenue stream. So it's just basically grow what's there, and if more people ask me for help, consider if I want to work with them or not, I guess.
That's a beautiful situation to be in, man.
I
That's a
guess.
that's I mean, if this is not the end goal, I don't really know what is, man. So I really love that for you. Now, before we wrap this up, let me ask you my last question. This is one of my favorite ever, but obviously you've been in business for quite some time now. So if you could travel back in time and maybe speak to your younger self, maybe at the very beginning of your journey as an entrepreneur, what would be the best piece of advice that you would give yourself?
Let's say I went all the way back to when I was in high school. I'd probably tell myself to go get a job at the post office.
Why?
That's a good question, right? Throughout this journey, there's been ups and downs. I've had a lot of years in my life where I've only made like 30,000 a year, or maybe even less than that. And while I had years where I made like 250, I made like 500 grand in 2020 and 2021 alone. So just those 2 years, I made like 500 grand. But I mean, if you kind of scale everything out and put everything into perspective, if you're working at the post office, you get a steady income that just continually goes up every single year. And if you're able to achieve a promotion 2 levels above a postmaster is a person who runs a whole post office. So an equivalent amount of skills of running a company with all these different people who work for you. It really comes out to, at the end of the day, you qualify for 100% of your benefits and your salary at the end of the day. So let's say you retire for 20 years, you were making 150 grand when you retire, then that means you get $3 million of free money. If you live for 30 or 40 years, that's up to $6 million of free money just from having a job. Then also at the same time, you got to consider how much health insurance costs when you're like 65, right? It's probably like 2,000 bucks a
Mhm.
month. 2,000 bucks a month for 10, 20, 30, 40 years for free. That's a lot of money. Whereas us entrepreneurs and us founders, what we have to do is figure out how to plan and allocate and take money away from our operating expenses and putting it into investments, which, if you don't have enough of that room in there, could cause some financial turmoil. You have to figure out taxes. You have all these different equations to do. And while it might sound like you might be limited on the front end of your life for if you work at the post office, you still get in shape, you still get all the great things you need to do because you're going out there and driving this truck to different places, getting your steps in and all that. You still have a much better it's a better growth trajectory than the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Leonard, I gotta say, this is a very different and fresh perspective on business. And you easily became one of the most memorable podcast episodes for me. But yeah, really, man, I want to say thank you for taking the time today and sharing your unique story with me and the audience. And if anybody from the listeners wanted to reach out, get in touch with you, who knows, maybe even work with you one day, what is the best way to go about it?
Sure. So my email is hello@leonardkim.com. My website is leonardkim.com. I don't know what's going on with my business website, so don't go there because all the information that was on it's not there right now. So yeah, just
Oh,
go
wow.
to find me on my regular website.
Good. Thanks, man. Again, I appreciate you being on the podcast. Now, to
Yeah,
our
yeah.
listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closures.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.